Hello, and thank you for listening to this episode of the Moore's October Rants. Today's episode is going to be titled, Preference Isn't Intelligence. As we navigate our lives, engaging in conversation, observing how people interact, it's impossible not to notice a recurring theme. Individuals often ridicule others simply for having different preferences. It can be as trivial as someone preferring Coca-Cola over Pepsi, or choosing an Xbox instead of a PlayStation. These are minor, inconsequential choices, yet somehow they've become grounds for judgment, even hostility. The same happens with smartphones. The ongoing debate between Android and Apple users often devolves into personal attacks, with people questioning each other's intelligence solely based on the brand of device they use. What's frustrating, and honestly disappointing, is how often these discussions cross from preference into insult. People will outright declare others to be stupid simply because they enjoy a different product or experience. The implication is clear. Because you don't like what I like, you must not be smart. But this idea is flawed at its core. Preference and intelligence are not correlated. They never have been. Take a moment to look up the definition of intelligence, or even just consider what intelligence entails. It's about critical thinking, reasoning, learning, and problem solving. It has nothing to do with whether someone prefers iOS or Android. Yet, that doesn't stop people from drawing an imaginary line between choice and worth. It's not only intellectually lazy, it's deeply immature. Many of us assume that once we leave high school behind, we also leave behind the juvenile behavior that thrives in those hallways. The cliques, the judgment, the constant need to assert superiority over trivial things. But adulthood, it turns out, doesn't always bring maturity. I've seen far too many grown adults engage in the same petty debates, using preference as a metric for intelligence or credibility. It's baffling, and frankly, it's embarrassing. When you really step back and think about it, what's so dangerous about someone liking something different than you? Is someone else's enjoyment of a different music genre or tech product really so threatening that it needs to be mocked or dismissed? And more importantly, why has calling something stupid become the default response to encountering something unfamiliar or simply different? This behavior isn't just childish, it's damaging. It creates a culture where people feel they have to defend harmless preferences or risk being ridiculed. It discourages open conversation and genuine curiosity. I often engage in tech forums, asking Apple users why they prefer their devices. Most of the time, their answers are grounded in personal needs, habits, and usability. It's rarely about one platform being objectively better than the other. It's simply about what works best for them. And that's exactly what preference is. Personal. Still, I've been told outright that I must not be smart because I use an Android phone. As if a brand choice somehow reflects cognitive ability. The two are entirely unrelated. But the fact that this is even a conversation people have, seriously, says a lot about where we are. This problem extends far beyond tech. You see it in nearly every area of life: food choices, clothing brands, gaming platforms, vehicles, even makeup. The moment someone expresses a different taste, there's often a knee-jerk reaction to belittle them, to label them inferior. It happens especially often in music communities. YouTube comment sections are a minefield of this behavior. People arguing over genres, calling others brainless for liking a certain sound. Metal fans are called idiots because others don't understand the artistry behind the music. Country fans are stereotyped. Pop fans are mocked. The list goes on. And yet behind those preferences are real people, many of whom are highly intelligent, thoughtful, and successful. I've read interviews with metal musicians who hold advanced degrees in engineering, science, and literature. Some are multilingual. Some run successful businesses on the side. Just because someone screams into a microphone on stage doesn't mean they lack intellect. In fact, the discipline and coordination it takes to play complex music, organize tours, manage finances, and maintain a brand, all while being part of a creative process, is no small task. Reducing that to noise or stupidity is simply ignorant. It's far easier to judge something on face value than it is to try to understand it. But when we judge others for their preferences, especially by equating those preferences with intelligence, We reveal more about our own insecurities than we do about the people we're criticizing. Dismissing others this way requires no thought, no effort. It's a lazy way to protect one's ego. We have to be better than this. There is a serious need for more empathy and nuance in how we engage with others, especially in a world where differences are not only inevitable, but necessary. Diversity of opinion and experience is what drives innovation, creativity, and growth. If we all liked the same music, ate the same food, wore the same clothes, and used the same devices, the world would be monotonous. The fact that someone doesn't share your taste is not an insult. It's not a challenge to your identity. It's not a statement about your intelligence or theirs. It's simply a reflection of different needs, values, and experiences. And that should be respected, not ridiculed. In the end, dismissing someone as stupid for liking something different is not only intellectually dishonest, it's a sign of immaturity. The world doesn't need more people yelling over one another about phones, music, or soda. What it needs is people who can accept that preference is not a threat. That difference isn't something to fear or mock. It's something to understand, or at the very least, respect. So no, I will never understand how personal taste became a battleground for superiority. And no, I don't think anyone should be called stupid because of what they like. If anything, the people who resort to that level of discourse are the ones who need to reevaluate how they think, how they speak, and how they choose to exist in the world. Because at the end of the day, maturity isn't just about age, it's about how we treat others. And respecting someone else's preferences is the bare minimum. Anyways, thank you for listening to this episode of the Moore's October Rants. Signing out. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye for now.